are live for AMA number 32, deep diving into Equinox. It's a new Balancer V2 fork on Binance chain. We are live here with Q, Nick, and NP. Hello, guys. Can you introduce yourselves for us and kind of give us a little background about the team and maybe how you guys came together?
Sure. So thank you very much for giving us the stage and this audience. We are actually a six-man team right now. We have been together since February. And, we started with Ames DeFi, and then we expanded to Alto, and then now we have Equinox. So these three protocols work together in unison to create our ecosystem, and Equinox is definitely the foundational piece. When I say that, I mean it's the one that kind of pulls everything or holds everything together, or kind of pulls everything together as the centerpiece of the entire ecosystem because it's a DEX. So we started together, and we built out our ecosystem, and now we're trying to improve on it and build. You can go ahead and introduce yourselves, Keel and Nick.
Yeah. If I could get a little bio on each of you too, like how long you've been in crypto, how long you guys have been developing or in your field, any Web2 experience that would help you guys in your biz dev, things like that.
Yeah. I'm actually coming from an insurance background. As consultant, I joined crypto about a year ago now, and I joined the team in April. I originally started out in February as investor with the ecosystem. There was only Amos DeFi at first, and from that it developed from investor to community mod in April, and now be part of core and managing together with Sweetoxin the community and with the Fox. And I do have some side tests at all, like helping out in marketing, for example, and working closely together with Nick.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Nick, and I am the business development and marketing manager for AAA Ecosystem. Been with the team for about a quarter now, working with them, integrating, working on growing our complete ecosystem. My primarily focus on TVL, as well as not only like brand and protocol partnerships, but influencer partnerships as well. My background goes pretty deep. I have an MBA in business management. I've been a regional sales and marketing manager for just about the last decade of my career. And then in terms of crypto, I've been in crypto for, about 14 months now.
I'm just curious, what industry were you in sales?
Yeah. So I would come from the automotive industry.
Cool. Go continue.
Yep. And just that last case, like I said, I've been in crypto for about 14 months now.
Cool. I've learned, there's many different industries and systems or I'd say ecosystems that translate, over if you're able to think creatively and apply those problem solving skills from those industries correctly, that it can have a lot of impact. So it's interesting to see who ends up building and brainstorming and creating ecosystems over here. Cool. MP, can you dig into your background a little bit for us?
So I kind of joined crypto about a year and a half ago. It is a pretty funny story, but I'll leave that for another more casual talk. Before that, I did a lot of trading on forex actually, and then once I got introduced to crypto, found out what a blockchain was, read a bunch of books, watched a bunch of charts, came onto crypto. I also started with Ames DeFi as an investor, and they went through quite a difficult time, and I had a suggestion on how to bring back, or how to reconfigure the allocations for rewards and etc in order to try and get back the price to peg. And then we executed it, and we did get back to peg. So they brought me on the team, and then I've been on ever since.
So hang on a second. So none of you guys are from the core team?
I am on the core team. We are
You are now?
Yeah, we are all on the core team.
So you're the founding team of Equinox, but not the founding team of Ames?
Well, you can consider us the founding team because we were there very, very near the beginning. So
Right, but
yeah,
you said you were part of the community and then you came on. So like, I'm wondering who hired you. You know what I mean?
correct. So it was just Corteza. He's not in the call right now, and the other person named Ames, and they originally brought me on, and then I brought Kuel and Nick and the rest on.
Okay.
So
How,
if you're talking about inception, we were not there, but
yeah.
very quickly, I think about a couple of weeks after the launch of Ames, I was on. So yeah,
Whose idea was Equinox?
Equinox was mine, as well as Briz, our lead dev, but he's working now, so he's not on the call.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I would definitely agree that Equinox is kind of the piece that ties everything together and makes it work well, especially now. Um, I am very, very impressed, and a lot of us are, that Ames and Alto are still alive, and not only still alive, but like fucking doing stuff. Uh, so that's cool, and it's something we did not expect from random tomb fork that popped up. And at the time back then, when everybody was trading, because we all remember when you guys launched, we were all tomb forking. Like that was the way to make money then, and it was interesting to see who actually like was left standing at the end of it, which was pretty much nobody. except,
Yeah,
except a very few people. Like even some of the best forks with the best teams just turned to dust.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
we were originally pegged to UST and are now to BUSD, so we are still standing. We're going strong, and we will release quite some developments soon for Ames too.
well, tell you what, if you would have stayed pegged to UST, you just would have had a much cheaper entry point, right?
so yeah, that's one of the issues that we did overcome. So originally, like Kiel said, we were pegged to UST, and then that promptly shut the bid. So like it just pulled everything down. Everybody was kind of panicking. So we had to find a way to migrate to Oracle and shift the boardroom top, that where it reached the top from, to BUSD pairing. So we did that, and we managed to get back to peg again. I mean, depegging on Toonfox is kind of, by now it's just really common. So it's just about how do you create a system that applies more buy pressure on the peg token without without having to tank the share token.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's really
It's the age old fucking question, right? Like how do
that
you
is.
yeah.
Yep,
But
that definitely is. But go
I
ahead,
get it.
sorry.
And no, you're fine, you're fine. I just wanted to say that it really is kind of a multifaceted problem, the buy pressure on the peg token thing. So like having the three pools over there and having the opportunity to do cool stuff and the flexibility that you have on Equinox is really cool. So real quick, give us just blue pill everybody here before we get too much in the weeds on what Equinox is and any changes you guys have made to the original balancer model. Um, just kind of give us the whole overview.
Okay, cool. So Equinox is obviously based on the balancer style decks. All of the infrastructure is based on them. We didn't change much. We did change the emission
V1 or
schedule.
V2?
V2, because we didn't change the emissions. Sorry, we changed the emission schedule because when they launched, they had a lot more VC backing at the time, as well as the bull market. So obviously you have to adapt to market conditions. So for ours, we shrunk our emission schedule, meaning we emit less in the beginning, but our time frame is about 5 years plus. It has the same curve as theirs, meaning there will always be a little bit of emissions, but more or less the time frame where it's the best to farm, it's about 5 years time. So that's pretty much just about all that we've changed. Although we did leave some stuff in there to allow us to expand on certain features. So, for example, like we do want to integrate an NFT marketplace and the NFT staking platform on the Equinox DEX itself, as well as a launchpad eventually, and also advanced trading tools like long shorting, um, derivatives, and futures. But all of that has to be decentralized, so we don't want to have it custodial in any way, which means that the system has to be kind of tested quite well. So that would take some time though.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I would much rather you guys focus on increasing TVL and strengthening your existing products first.
Correct.
But yeah, I mean, I can see you guys expanding the ecosystem, further as you accomplish those goals. But yeah, I mean, being who I am, I would like to see you guys really focus on increasing that TVL and valuable partnerships, getting people to maybe start some fucking gauge wars or something. Um, stuff like that that's gonna try to bring users into the platform. Um, yeah, but yeah. So can we go into the token locking and how that works and how we can earn the APRs? Because there's one thing that I noticed that kind of I didn't really like. Um, I actually mentioned it in your server. I wasn't trying to ruffle feathers. I was just giving feedback. But on Balancer or on Beethoven, for example, a traditional Beats fork, you go to the farm page, the invest page, and you invest, and then you stake your tokens, and you can earn an APR. And the APR is advertised there publicly, right? Everybody can see it. You do the same thing, and you show the APR there. But the difference is the APR is not the actual APR. That's the locked APR if you were to lock for a full year.
So okay, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I would much rather prefer that language on the homepage or on the farm page, invest page, to say locked APR, rather than APR. But yeah, I mean that's one of the primary differences. I was just gonna announce that for everybody is in those farm pools on the you can only get those APRs if you're locking your LP tokens. Is that correct, or is that just for the 80/20?
Actually, yeah, it's just for okay. So that is actually just for the main pool. So for future reference, the nomenclature I use is the main pool is the AEQ Rep BNB 80/20 pool. So and the rest of the pools that you see under core pools, I will refer to them as core pools. So for core pools, literally all you have to do is invest and then stake, and you get the APR that is stated there.
Okay.
What you're talking about is correct. Is if you invest in the AEQ Rep BNB main pool, you have to lock your tokens first in order to capture the APR that is stated on the page. Now, right now it shows the APR for a full year, and I do agree with you. There should be kind of like a tooltip that shows a breakdown. Like let's say if you lock for this long, you get this much, etc. etc. So Briz is working on that right now to have it display right on the Dynamo itself. Meaning when you go to lock, while you're choosing the lockup time, it kind of shows you this is the estimated APR that you get. So there is a infrastructure for that already.
Yeah. I would go as far to even like remove that pool from the invest page and put it on the Dynamo page, because it would make more sense. Like lock and stake, or stake and lock, or sorry, create LP and lock, add liquidity and lock. Because that's the only way to get the APR.
Right.
It would make more sense because it's a different thing than what else is on that invest page. That'd be my only recommendation from a UX standpoint. But I think that the product is strong, and I think locking to incentivize those APRs is good. There needs to be, I believe, if you guys want to be truly successful, some language that explains the VE token locking and how that affects your supply against dilution. Because that's really what is beneficial with these protocols with early token locking is you don't get diluted. If you were to purchase, a large lump sum of tokens at the bottom and lock them up, then there's no way that you're going to be diluted by the farming emissions. That's kind of like the way it works out. Is the math the same with the emissions here?
Yeah, it's very similar to what you described. It's quite accurate. So the longer you lock as well, you get more, and then you capture a larger portion of the emissions, and then obviously the main pool again, the main pool AEQ Rep BNB 80/20 does receive the a majority of emissions. So yeah, your assumption is correct. If you do buy a bunch at the bottom and you lock it up, you don't get diluted as much. Obviously, if you buy at the top.
Well, it should be guaranteed to not be diluted at all. If it was the same, because basically, like if you're locked, I'm just going to use like solidly for an example. Um, um, if you were to lock into a VENFT, the amount of emissions you receive weekly counteract the dilution. Like it's designed to
Mm-hmm.
counteract it.
Yes, correct.
I would love to see that and see that language there in the documentation and even on the Dynamo page. So, because that's going to incentivize users to want to lock more.
All right.
So
That is a
that
good
would
point.
be
I do take that into consideration. I will figure out a way to put it on the UI. We have actually a long ass list of UI points that we've been gathering over the weeks. So we just kind of released those out a little bit. I think from the last time you probably visited and now there have been little tweaks here and there, as well as a couple of boxes that showed additional information. But yeah, all these kind of feedbacks that you're giving now, these are very useful. So that'll eventually all get on the page, obviously. But
yeah.
as we
I
go
mean,
along, we add it.
I'm just I use the platform. I like it. I can tell that there are some things that you guys probably, well, I would say that you need to fix. You probably already know about that, or you have in development, like you said. But um, I like the platform. And everything works very well. It's just some minor things. But yeah. I'd like to learn about what kind of partnerships you guys have brewing behind the scenes. Is there anything um, that's kind of coming down the pipeline that would be an event that could spark an increase in TVL or volume for you guys?
Yes. So I'll talk a little bit about the partnerships that we already have right now, since we launched just a couple of weeks ago. But we've had Bandit Protocol, who is listed on us, and they have decided to list as partners, which means they do give us some equity in form of their LP tokens as well as their native tokens, which we then are able to distribute in the AEQ staker. So that actually the AEQ staker, I didn't mention it just before this, but that is actually quite unique in comparison to the other Balancer Fox. The other Balancer Fox don't have a staker per se,
Yeah.
like the one that we have.
Yeah.
So it's very similar to the syrup pools on PancakeSwap. So that's
Yeah,
what those
yeah.
are. Yeah.
It's very
So
cool.
those are
Very cool. We've seen something similar with Boo on Spooky Swap. You can lock up your Boo for X Boo and then stake into a partner pool and earn. And then with X Boo, when you stake your Boo, it turns to X Boo, and then your Boo doesn't get diluted. So you earn on your staked Boo while you're also earning in one of those partner pools. So it's kind of an interesting model. So it's similar. It's like a advancement of the syrup pool.
Yes, correct. It's like liquid staking, so that's nice. We're also trying to move towards that model eventually, but yeah, for now it's just staking pools that we have, and then you receive single tokens, and then what was I mentioning earlier? Okay, so Bandit's the first one, and then we had Roaring Lion join in recently. Roaring Lion is a toxic deer fork, which means their boardroom accepts the share LP tokens instead of the share token. So that's what they are. And they are actually the same team who brought a couple of other Tomb Fox to the space in on, I think it was Phantom, maybe Avalanche, and they're going to be bringing their rest of their liquidity over to Aequinox as well, because they love the way that, like, the amount of flexibility that they have with regards to the pools as well as their own rewards. And then they're not bound by the the share token emissions. They can kind of adjust it as they go along the weeks, and divert the rewards to certain pools or boost it, and they can add additional rewards, etc., etc., all of that. So they love that, and they'll be bringing the rest of the liquidity over, which will definitely increase our TBL as well as our trading volume. And apart from them, there are a few more that we are in talks with. Actually, within our Angels group, there's leadership from a few different other protocols, and we'll be working with them to bring over some liquidity over to Aequinox as well.
Okay. I would love to see you guys start looking for some larger scale, like something outside of the Tomb Fork. Like you guys have a serious product here, and I think it's time for you to start talking to serious people, and other serious protocols. Like
Correct.
this can elevate you guys outside of the degen bubble and into something else. And I think you need to treat it as such, right?
That is definitely correct, and that is definitely the direction we've taken. We've actually talked at length about this with the rest of the marketing team as well as the entire core team, and we do want to come from the angle with Aequinox that we are essentially not really a degen project, where we are trying to aim towards a more institutional grade decentralized finance project, which means that as you said, we want to go for the bigger fish in that sense, and but it doesn't mean we'll ignore the small ones, right? So yeah, all of them, everyone's welcome, as long as they're not rugs or malicious tokens. It's fine.
It really it's going to be critical, like who ends up building and utilizing your platform.
Mhm.
So I think the value of controlling emissions in your platform needs to be made prevalent, right? Like, yeah, if like for example, I have a cross-chain emissions boosting protocol. I want to launch it on all chains where I can acquire VE governance, like VE tokens, right? I want to control emissions so that I can create, uh, a profitable like flywheel of yield for the ecosystem. In order to do that, it needs multiple moving pieces and like a strong cycle of emissions coming in, hopefully from multiple directions. Um, to accomplish that, we need something like a balancer fork and gauges and VE locking. So to me, I would love to come build there, but we need liquidity and there needs to be, you know what I mean, some interest based around, and some also we need metrics on like I was saying about the locking and how many tokens are being locked versus how many are being emitted each week. Uh, Things like that is going to help you to onboard these people. That's why I was asking you those questions.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely for sure. Well, as you said, we do try and aim more for projects at this point. So yeah, definitely all those things that you mentioned are very very useful.
Yeah, I know you guys are open to this stuff. I was just kind of like, I also want to present it to the public too, because this is where the value is in finding the fundamental like growth potential, right? For company or a project in the crypto space. It's important. Like partnership acquisition and targeting the proper partnerships for acquisition is a skill. It's a tough thing to do, and the teams that are able to pull it off are the teams usually that you see with the most success. So um, I just like for Equinox, before I end up doing anything major, I know we're already discussing doing an OTC deal, and I still want to do it. Um, but I mean, before we were to like deploy over here and do a big VE token purchase and all sorts of stuff, we want to make sure that the framework is in place for us to be successful. Um, so I really really hope that we can get some TVL over there, because this is a good opportunity, honestly. And I think that if other builders were to see what you guys are doing and see the opportunity, maybe you guys could come up with some sort of like a package or something. Like you offer a deal for somebody here, you can have some locked tokens, LP tokens at this rate, um, and have governance for your protocol, and control some emissions or whatever, in return for something, So maybe you guys can brainstorm on that, but that'd be one way to try to entice people. And do you guys
Yeah.
have any strategies in place right now?
Yep, definitely for sure. So it's exactly as you mentioned. Actually, it's the whole if so the platform in its natural form, anyone can list, right? Anybody can create liquidity. People can do what they want on it. But if any project would like to take it a step further into the realm of partnerships, we do offer that through via the Dynamo. So that's really the point of entry that we try to focus on and trying to get people to participate in the voting and the bribing and all of that. So we have to build that out. Also, recently we have I'm not sure if you know what overnight Fi. So they have that USD Plus. They're actually making the boosted pools for us. That they have some boosted pools for Balancer as well, actually. And we're in a group chat with the Balancer dev and stuff. So they did help us out occasionally. Although they're like super busy, they did reply us like once a week. So
Are you guys
yeah.
considered a friendly fork yet?
Yeah, well, so non-officially we're considered friendly, but yeah, they haven't announced it and stuff yet. So we're working
Okay.
towards that. There are a few
Yeah.
conditions that we need to meet with them. So once we do that, that'll be nice. And then
Okay.
in the meantime, we're getting the boosted pools out from Overnight Fi. They're gonna bring over a whole bunch of stablecoin liquidity and TVL to us. They're gonna do the self-bribing pools and all of that. So
Who
yeah,
is?
Overnight Fi. So they're the ones who did the USD Plus.
Yeah. So can you wait? Did they make USD Plus?
Yes, they did. They are the
okay.
correct.
Oh wow. Well, that's big. So they plan to do some boosted vaults there or something?
They have already made the boosted vaults, so we are just in the process of integrating it. They Briz I and Max is their lead, and I can't remember, their dev is on a testnet. We have a Goerli testnet version,
Wow.
and then we're kind of going back and forth with them. And then once that's perfect, we'll release the pool. So that particular pool is actually really, really nice because it's the first iteration of a self-bribing pool that will be on on Aequinox, and those are really,
Yeah.
really important because those really they multiply your stablecoin liquidity by quite a lot over time. So and it's like price support for the AEQ token, so that's good.
Yeah. Okay. So it's basically auto staking the AEQ rewards to
Yeah,
boost it
something like
more.
that. Yeah, something like that. So it votes for itself in that sense. Then
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it's the hidden hand shit. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, we're gonna be implementing that stuff. Okay, cool. Well, that's really bullish. And that's single sided, right? Single sided UST or sorry,
you
USD plus.
USD plus, so they have a wrap version because USD plus the original token does rebase, which as you know by now that is not compatible with Balancer V2 forks. But they have a wrap version, and then they're gonna be using, I believe, 3 stablecoins that they're doing for the boosted pool. The first boosted pool that they're putting on. The 3 stablecoins they're using is USDC, USDT, and then BUSD because those are the three most popular on or commonly traded on Binance Smart
Wait a
Chain.
second. Hang on. So the USD plus going into first of all, it auto rebases, right? So they stake it into like a liquid staking contract and then get a receipt token. So the USD plus is accumulating yield while the wrapped version you can stake into Balancer. Is that what's happening?
Correct.
Oh
Although
fuck.
yeah, correct. So that's liquid staking. So that's pretty cool. In addition to that, there's also another protocol that we are talking to. They just contacted me a couple of days ago. They want to do the BNB staking. So again, same thing as you're mentioning, the liquid staking. They want to have stake BNB and BNB pool. That one's pretty cool. We've been looking for someone to try and build that for us, and it's just quite serendipitous that they contacted us. So we're going to be having a call soon.
Stuff can drive TVL. That sounds like a phantasm fork. What the fuck is that? What is it called?
The BNB one or the USD plus one?
Yeah, the BNB one.
Stader, STADER.
Oh, Stater. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's yes, bro. Yes, you guys is if you get that, you guys are going to be in a very good, very good position, bro. Stater would be huge. I know Stater on Phantom has I think 5 mil in TVL single sided. Yeah, you guys that would really help you guys along with the USDT or USD plus thing. That's huge. That's the kind of shit we want to hear. So awesome.
Yes, exactly. So it's exactly like you mentioned. So we do want to go for these kinds. These are the the kind of less degen kind of DeFi projects, which is not an insult or a criticism of the other DeFi projects in the space right now. It's just that depending on your market conditions, more degen projects may or may not do very well. But that doesn't mean we don't invite them on board as well, because in the end, we are the house where the party is thrown. We don't define who's the DJ or who are the dancers. They just come.
Of course. I mean, it is an open permissionless platform, right? And that's the goal. But it's your job to target those, like we were talking about, those strategic partnerships that are gonna increase the value for everybody else who chooses to build on the platform, right? And create stability for AEQ. So uh, yeah, that's cool. And understanding that it's very important, and it seems like you get it now. So and that's really cool. So it's no shade to Tomb Forks or Degen projects, because they all play their part, right? We all at different phases of our investment career are doing different things, and different types of risk tolerances are accepted throughout these different stages, and it all's part of the spectrum of crypto, right? And it's all good. As long as there's integrity involved, I don't give a shit what people are doing, and everybody understands the game, right? I've been here for almost 10 years doing this shit. It's always been the same. And it's the Wild West. People need to understand that. But but there's a point now, and we're elevating in DeFi, and there's ways that we can create sustainable profits for people and really cool shit. And it's cool to see you maturing with the space. I'll just say that as a bit of
Thank you
sentiment.
very much, sir. Thank you very much. I do
No
appreciate
doubt.
that, because that is definitely the direction that we do want to take, especially moving forward with the.
Yeah, most definitely. And now is the time. I mean, if you can create something good or something, worthwhile through these markets right now, when when sentiment returns and volume returns, um, it's gonna be very, very good thing for whoever is standing strong. And it's something that a lot of people fail to realize. And even outside of like investing, right? I mean, sorry, outside of project management, branching into like investing, a lot of people, when the markets get bad, they look the other way and they don't focus, they don't research and pay attention and accumulate the right things. When really, if you were to stick through it, you're going to be in such a better position, right? Always. Um, but yeah, it's cool to see, and I think that doing this, setting the framework through the bear and getting strong holdings and strong amounts of tokens locked, you know, having those big partners come in and locking tokens because they want to boost their pools and stuff, that is going to put you guys in a very good position. You're setting a strong foundation. So yeah, that's very cool.
Definitely, for sure. I echoed that sentiment exactly. And historically speaking, the companies that start up during the bottom of a market, or let's say the tail end of a bear market, are the ones that historically do the best, because there's most room for growth in that respect. So yeah, we're definitely sticking through it. We've been here for a long ass time. We'll be here for a long more time. So yep, lots of things to do. Lots of parts of our vision to realize over the next couple of years. So it's going to be quite a journey.
Excellent. Okay. You have any audits done? Any KYCs that I don't know about? I have not checked on that.
So we have a KYC with Assure DeFi. It's the same team for Alto and Ames as well. I believe
Mhm.
BSC Daily has our doxed information as well. And for audits, we have two OX guard, ones for Ames DeFi and a tech rate one for Alto. For Aequinox itself has not been. We are still looking to do a post deployment audit. We tried to get one before, and they said no. This for this level, like this, it's just so many contracts. They want like it to be fully deployed first, and then everything verified, etc., etc. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're still in contact with we're actually talking to Paladin, Obelisk, and Certic. I don't really like Certic personally, but that seems to be like the popular one. But I don't think they value add for the price that they charge. So
If
maybe
you
we'll do Paladin or something.
if you needed an affordable audit for your balancer fork, we can get that for you through our partner as an initial audit, and then once you guys raise more money over time, you could get blue chip audit.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to talk about that, we can later. But okay, cool. I'll move on to next question. How is Alto and Ames related? I think we answered that already. It's the same team. They're the same team has launched all three projects, and Equinox kind of ties all the projects together under one platform. Do you have any plans to launch any launchpad? Yeah, they actually said that they may be launching a launchpad in the future. NFT marketplace, NFT staking. I don't know. What do you think?
Yes, correct. So the NFT marketplace and NFT staking will be attached under the brand of Equinox as well as the Launchpad. Now we're not in a great hurry to launch those. I want to say that first. We obviously,
Yeah,
like you said, we do want to do our we want to increase our liquidity, increase our TVL, focus on the listings and partnerships. I say this every single time I get asked this question. But just for the kind of direction that you want to if people want to know what kind of direction we want to take in the future, that is definitely what we're going to go with Equinox. So yeah, and you see the launchpad is kind of related, right? So projects, if you are able that launch through them or through the launchpad can directly start their liquidity on Equinox, and usually that's a
right.
good thing.
Auto deploy and set a time and all that stuff.
Of course, yes, and then I guess launchpad would also have an advantage over others because since you're
So
deploying on a
is it? Would it
balanced style
be?
text. Go ahead.
Would it be an LGE? The way that Beethoven does their launches.
Uh, Similar but not really. So yeah, the LG one is all integrated into the UI as well. It's just create a pool and then you can do all of that. But ours will actually be a launchpad, the DApp will be separate, but it'll be under the Equinox brand. And then anybody who wants to launch it, right? You think of it as a very very nice looking pink sail that doesn't churn out rubbish.
But it
So
utilizes the LGE, right?
yes,
Yeah,
okay. So
yes.
the LGE is based on the liquidity bootstrapper pool, but the thing is, the people who go through our launchpad will be able to choose, so they don't have to do the liquidity bootstrapper pool. But they can choose like a 80/20, or they can choose maybe 3 or 4 different tokens in the same pool. So it would also
Correct.
benefit. It would also benefit, for example, projects who are already launched but they want to raise liquidity for a specific pool that includes all their tokens. So that could be an avenue for them to enter as well.
Okay. That's pretty cool. I I'm always hesitant when I hear people talking about launch pads.
Mhm.
But if it's if it's a permissionless, just like kind of part of the platform, it's a tool that's built on top of the LGE or the launch mechanisms, and that's cool to me. I think that's fine.
Yes,
Um,
correct. So that's exactly what we're going for. It will be permissionless, mostly, and yeah, it will definitely be linked into Equinox. It's the whole idea is to increase the avenues which we can extract liquidity and TVL to Equinox.
yeah, my issue with the launch pads are the shitty launch pads who only do like a select project who they have a partnership with, who pay them a bunch of money, and then they do select pricing rounds and all sorts of stuff, and then it ends up like it's just usually just a nightmare each time. So anyway, let's see. And then one more from Shin Spade. How many pools are available? There's a lot. There's like 20 or something. And do you have any staking programs? Okay, so I guess just kind of review this. We went over the staking pools. They're similar to syrup pools. Do you have any compounding features available?
Right. Sorry. So we are yet to release the single state AEQ, which will be auto compounding. Um, and that particular staker will be basically you can choose. It'll be either you can choose the flexible or locked staking, and then it will auto compound your AEQ inside there and get more. Now, having said that, we also in our white paper and our roadmap we have a auto compounders as a service, which will be part of Equinox as well. So, for example, there may be projects or partners that want to use have a auto compounder built for their I don't know their farm or their pool. So we'll be able to provide that. So think of it as like a mini B fee, but part of Equinox. And then obviously we get that the nice little performance fee, which will constitute as DEX fees, which will then be fed back to the uh, VAEQ holders.
Cool. Any any talks of partners building, utilizing building compounders on like Phantom? We see a lot of compounding protocols pop up, and they generate revenue through fees and stuff. Is there anything like that yet?
Yeah, so we will build the auto compounders actually. We
You're
already
gonna
have
do it
the
yourself in house.
yes in-house. So we kind of have most of the scripts done already. Although they were tested with like the pancake pools and stuff. But yeah, so all we need to do is kind of reroute them to use the Conflux, which is our the centerpiece trading mechanism of Equinox. So yeah, just have to get around to
Uh,
it. They got a bunch of stuff to do now that is priority.
Yeah, no doubt. I understand. Um, next questions are pretty generic. Rect asks, how many ways can you earn AEQ? It's through farming with LP tokens on the platform. Equinox Dynamo is the token locking and platform governance by locking up the 80/20 LP.
Yes.
And what drives the whole system. Can the community vote on treasury stuff? What is the community? Is there any governance involved as far as decision makings with BizDev, or is it all related to emissions?
Okay, so right now it's related to emissions, and we do take clever suggestions by the community very very seriously, which is exactly why we did release that pool recently with the AEQ and as well as the ETH and BTC in it. But obviously, there has to be a balance between centralization and decentralization in this respect, because if not, people can just suggest 100 different ridiculous ideas. So we do kind of filter them out, and then when the good ones they naturally rise to the top because those are the ones that gain popularity in the community and the chats themselves. Those are the ones that we definitely notice, and then we try to implement them as fast as possible.
No doubt. All right. Crypto lovers asking. He had to leave, but this will be recorded for him. What is the? I could have checked this. What is the current circulating supply and emission schedule? That I know this is in the docs. I'm gonna have him look at the docs on that one. It's too much
Right.
to talk. But what are key features of Equinox? Oh, this is very. I thought they were gonna be. We already touched on these. Okay, I'll ask you this one. What are your current thoughts on the market right now as a team, and do you guys have any plans to participate in the MVB, the Binance Chain Valuable Builder program?
Yeah, so there are certain conditions that need to be met before we accept. I did explore that in a bit of preliminary research. So we do want to get into part of that. They have that like getting a grant from Binance would be very very nice, and that's definitely something that we're going to try and aim for. But we definitely have to make sure that our machine runs very very smooth, and then get a little bit of TVL, get a little bit of trading volume, um, and make sure that we're ready for that. So yeah, we definitely want to try and snipe those.
Yeah, it's definitely a goal to work towards, I think, over time.
Mhm.
Okay.
And like you did mention before, this is exactly the kind of project that can get there.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Especially after some of those partnerships get landed. Can you give us some details on the tokenomics, like the team allocation? Is there a vesting schedule? Um, how are you guys generating revenue?
So the team allocations we had, it's 8% of the total supply that is given to the team, but only 2% what like of the initial was given to us upfront, and then the rest is all vested over 2 years. So yeah, our allocation is actually very far below the market the industry standard. Industry standard is like 12 to 15 to 16%. We have about 8%. So yeah, that's how the team goes. I will say right now, and I will declare, and I think the team will back me up on this. We are extremely underpaid as far as DeFi goes, most definitely. Especially since certain other protocol leaderships personal paychecks have come to light recently. But yeah, we are
That's why
very
your project is still standing, sir.
that I agree. Yeah, we reinvest most of what the protocol earns back into the protocol anyway. And then like when you're talking about like salary or like team allocations and stuff, we're super underpaid, dude. Super.
Yeah, trust me, I know what it takes to survive through this market right now with the DeFi protocol because we're doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
my whole team is like, oh, thank God, it's not just us right now.
Yeah, dude. So you know how it is, but yeah.
No doubt, but it's important to make these sacrifices now because if you don't, your project will just die and you'll go back to being a regular degen. So,
For sure.
um,
100%
and
agreed on that.
yeah, nobody wants that. So you got to sacrifice. You got to eat ramen when you got to eat ramen, and that applies to business too. So
Yes.
that's a little bit of wisdom for everybody. But yeah, all right. Well, guys, I think that this is pretty good talk. Oh, one thing I want to ask. I can't find one, but is there any other balancer V2 forks on BSC?
There is one that uses the what we call the conflux on Balancer. You will know it as the vault, which is like the centralized trading contract. Because instead of liquidity pairs, there's one contract that holds all the liquidity, right? So they use that, meaning their trading system is based on Balancer, but they don't have the voting escrow. They don't have all that other stuff.
Are you talking
So
about Shell?
no, not that one. There's
What's it?
another one, but they're not doing very well right now. I'll DM you the name later.
So it's like an 1155 vault or something that holds all the liquidity.
It's okay. The name is a vault, but it's not an actual vault. Meaning it's not a contract that locks anything. That's just what they call it. So we call it the conflux. That's literally just the smart. There's one smart contract in all balancer forks that handles all of the trading. Unlike on a Uniswap or a PancakeSwap fork where your trade goes through the actual liquidity pair, this one is all in one contract. So that's pretty much how all balancer forks function.
All right. So you're talking it's a diamond contract. Is that what you're referring to?
I'm not sure if you and I are referring to the same nomenclature, but I'm pretty sure you do understand what I'm trying to
I
explain.
think
But
so.
yeah.
All right. Okay. One last question from Freak Show. How will you keep your DEX an attractive place for new projects' liquidity? He saw that Roaring Lion chose Equinox. How can you guys incentivize projects to come over there? And I think that the simple answer is that the Balancer V2 model is a more efficient DEX model.
Yes.
You can do
Much
a lot more creative things, right?
Definitely, for sure. 1000%. It in terms of features and flexibility and what you can do as a project on a Balancer V2 type fork, it way exceeds what you can do on PancakeSwap. Like you can't even change the freaking swap fees on PancakeSwap. You literally just have to use whatever they give you, and then if you wanted to have, let's say, a partnership with Pancake and say, hey, would you give some cake tokens to my farm? You wait for 3 to 4 years before they reply to you. On here, it's all permissions. You can kind of just add the rewards to your own gauge.
It's a much more decentralized system.
It's not only that, but you also get support from us.
Yeah, I mean, since we are in the early stages, you definitely have access to closer access to the team. Obviously, once we have like hundreds and hundreds of partners, it's just going to be untenable to have individual care for each of them. But right now, while we're still in the beginning phases, all the projects who want to come on in the beginning definitely have a lot more access to the team.
Better price point,
Yes,
and
for
your
sure.
VE tokens, and if there's a partnership deal worked out for OTC or whatever, this is what I keep telling people. There's a lot of projects who don't understand how to creatively generate revenue. And I mean, there isn't really a much better way to create sustainable revenue for your protocol than to acquire VE tokens at the right times and get early access to ecosystems. By doing that, you're getting yourself a strong foothold. So when volume comes and the project does well over time and liquidity and TVL increases, your voting power becomes it becomes money. You know, your revenue stream is increasing massively, and that's sustainable emissions that you get to control and sell that are not your native protocol token, right? So just a little bit of alpha for project leads and founders out there, treasury managers. I shouldn't be sharing this alpha. I should be keeping it to myself.
A lot of people taking notes here.
Anyway, is Cruel German? Got a question.
Originally, I'm from Kazakhstan, but yeah, I have the German passport.
Everybody knew it, except me. I did.
Oh, there's one thing I'm seeing in AMA questions about bribes. Yes, this will be included too. We also have a channel called Dynamo Wars, so it's getting set up.
Excellent. Well, I think we're all good. So thank you everybody for coming, and really looking forward to this. See how it pans out.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Thank you very much for inviting us. I do appreciate the audience and the quite natural way that you have in AMA. Didn't seem like it was all planned questions. It's kind of like a dialogue between us. Just very. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. We try to do things differently and kind of do things more organically, you know. So
Thank you for having us and having the opportunity.
of course, yeah. Thank you for coming. We're excited to see some real DeFi happening over on BNB. So best of luck, fellas.
Thank you very much, Trading Tulips. Looking forward to talking to you soon again.
Take care, everybody.
Yes, thank you very much, gentlemen.
This has been our 30-second Investors AMA with Aequinox, and this was a great one. So please make sure that you guys check them out. This is Trading Tulips signing out at the TulipDAO, where we now do deep dives, KYCs, and provide security audits. Come get you some credibility, son.
Let's go.